This episode of Off the Job podcast is sponsored by FlexiGas.
Certs, invoices, quotes, diary, in clicks, not chaos. Whether you're on site or offline, the Electrical app works when and where you need it. Get 30% off your yearly subscription with Pod 30. Jobs are good.
Welcome back to Off the Job. We have a special guest in, obviously, because they're all special on this podcast. This is my friend Alan Bissell from Artek Electrical. He is an electrician.
How dare you?
Thanks for coming on, mate.
That's all right, Pete. Nice to see you.
We also know each other from the comedy circuit because Alan is actually a comedian as well.
Try to.
Well, I always say try to. He's trying to play it down there, but he's very good at what he does. But yeah, how long have you been doing the old disgusting trade then?
It's not a disgusting trade. It's the best trade out there.
Well,
It's a cleaner trade, isn't
it? Look at them fingernails. Look at
yeah, look, it's all clean. Dustpans everywhere.
dustpan and brush or what? No, do you know what? It was about 20 years ago. I moved to. I went travelling around Australia.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. I went travelling around Australia and I wanted to live there. So when I came back, I thought I'm going to get a trade. And I had a look and it was either plumbing and electrics were at the top and I didn't fancy cleaning shit out of toilets. So I thought, do you know what, I'll go for electrics.
I wish I had that thought.
It was the best thing.
My mate sold it to me as a heating job. Do you know what I mean? So I was always doing heating. But I didn't think about the toilet side of it at the time. Do you know what I mean?
it's
And then I
not
was
good.
too far in.
Didn't think about sandy flows.
No. Freaking thing. Yeah.
But yeah, so when I came back, I thought, you know what, I'll train up as an electrician. And in the first year of doing the college and all that sort of thing, I met a girl, which turned out to be my now wife. And I kept saying to her at the time, do you know what, I'm going to go to Australia, don't fall in love with me. Going to go next year. Before I knew it, I was a qualified electrician. And we had another kid. And then before we knew it, it was like, 5-10 years down the line. But yeah, it was, doing electrics has probably been the greatest thing ever. But once I was actually qualified, no, I'll take you back. When I was actually starting out, I was 23, 24 years old. And basically, the guy who I knew, Selby Electrics, he gave me a couple of days training. And I thought, this is a bit of me. But he said, look, I can only give you £50 a day. And I thought, well, okay, that's fine. Thanks a lot. But I didn't know which end of the screwdriver to hold. Yeah. So he gave me 2 days a week. So I went 2 days a week with him, Monday and Tuesday. Then Monday and Tuesday evening, I put myself through college. Then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I became a double-decker bus driver. Yeah. So well, it was a means to an end. You had to sign in for a 1-year contract. They put you through your PCV, I think it was, put you through that for a year. And so at least, and the advertisement on the back of the bus was earn a minimum of £350 a week working on the buses. And I thought that's enough to pay the bills and that, and then I can learn the trade while I'm doing it. So I'd done that for an entire year. And once I'd actually passed the year contract with the buses, then I had enough confidence to kind of go back to him and go, look, can you offer me a full-time job? He gave me, I think it was £65 a day, something like that, but it was like £360 a week. And that was enough to kind of get me going. But I knew at that stage, 24, 25 years old, I knew that I wanted to kind of earn more. So what I'd done, working with him, and then I started working with my brother as well. And I thought, I always want to go out on my own. So every weekend I'd get like a little private job on a Saturday. And then you start realising if I got 2 or 3 private jobs on a Saturday, I was earning enough money on a Saturday and Sunday, more than what I was earning Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
So I then started doing that and then went out on my own. Done that for about 1.5 years as Alan Bissell Electrics. And there was this thing in my head, I've got ADHD like most tradesmen have and everything else, we're not wired up properly. Yeah.
What age did you start on your own?
So 24, 25, okay. I was out on my own, kind of like dipping in and out. But I always had this thing from school to do the knowledge to become a London taxi driver. So while I was out on my own, I was going out on my scooter, doing the knowledge and trying to build a business because I'm thick as shit. I'm trying to do everything at the same time. And it took about 6 years and I passed the knowledge.
I didn't
You've done a lot, haven't you?
We talked about the knowledge earlier,
it was today, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd done the knowledge. It took about 6 years, part-time evenings. Dad got ill halfway through it and so about 18 months off. But from start to finish, it took about 6 years. And then, so once I'd actually passed, so I'd do the maths, whatever I was, 28, 29 years old or thereabouts, I become a London cab driver. I'd done it for 2 years. And what I was doing to earn decent money, I was going out Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. The whole reason to become a London taxi driver was so I could spend more time with my family and kids. And it's the one thing that I never got to do because I wanted to maximise the amount of money I could earn while I was going out. So about 2 years in, I remember my wife saying to me, if it ever comes between us, you'll give it up, or whatever we do in life. You know, if it comes between us, nothing's bigger than us, which is no problem. And the day she said that, even now I still get it. The day she said it, it was like this big weight come off my shoulders where I was trying to carry the family, the bills, the everything. And so I went, brilliant. That's the best day in the world. So what I'd done, I got a van and I started up Artek Electrical, just doing 1 day a week. The good thing with the cab is I could go out 4 days a week and do it, you know, because you can pick and choose your days. So I went out 4 days a week and then done 1 day on my own, started building it up, get back in touch with some old people. Well, I can get you a contract. Long story short, 2 days and then 3 days in the cab, then 3 days electrics, 2 days cab. And over the space of like a 2 year period, I started up Artek Electrical. So Artek Electrical, that stands for Alan, Ruby, Tommy, Ella, Kim.
Nice.
That's my kid's name, and me and my wife are either side of them. So it looks really professional, but it's actually just it's the name of my family.
That's lovely.
That's where Artek's come from, really.
It's great how you sort of you've made things happen. Do you know what I mean? You've gone on the bus to get by, pay the bills. So the cab driver, wasn't that a long-term thing? You wanted.
Do you know what? I've still got my badge now. So I think it's about 10 years ago last time I drove a taxi. But every 3 years you renew your licence. And I'll always have it. It's still, even now, when you speak to my wife, it's still the most proudest thing that even though we're doing really well in business, she's always so proud. By the way, he's a London taxi driver, because passing the knowledge is...
It's
the hardest thing in the world.
Was that a long-term plan, though, to be a cab driver?
It was. It always was. Because back in the day, I mean, when I was growing up, my friends' parents who had company, you know, when my dad used to pick us up on a motorbike or in a Ford Cortina, they'd have Mercedes and stuff like that. What did your dad do? He's a London cab driver. They got a swimming pool. They got that back in the 80s. They was nicking $2,000 a week in the 80s, you know, and that's equivalent for double the amount. Whereas now you struggle to get that now in today's society, you know, kind of 30, 40 years on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the game's kind of died, but nothing stays the same forever, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, we were literally talking about that today, about Uber, like obviously taking over, and
I said it takes 5-6 years to get knowledge.
You can do it in 2.5 years if you go out and you do it every single day, 8 hours a day, and do it as a job. If you've got nothing else, that's why you can't do it until I think it's 21. You can't do the knowledge, or you can't start the knowledge until you're 21. But if you've got nothing else around you and you can use it as a full time, you can do it in under 3 years if you really.
But can people do? Is there any way of doing it before they're 21, like learning? The knowledge, so you're ready to take it.
Yeah. So because you do it all off your own back, you can start whenever you want. But I'm sure maybe someone out there might be able to tell me different. But I'm sure it's 21. But it's more the case of you can do whatever it is, but you can't apply for the knowledge until you're 21. Then when you apply for the knowledge, then you go on to like these exams. So you do your first exam, which is just general. Then you go on a thing called 56s. So every 56 days you go up and you get examined. It's quite a daunting thing. You go up to like an office, you have to go suited and booted, and you walk into like a waiting room where everyone who's doing the knowledge is sitting there. You're sweating, you're kind of like really worried, and like an examiner comes out in his suit and he'll go, Bissell, and turn around and walk off you like that. Yes, sir. You're kind of walking after him, and he'll sit you in like in a room like this with a desk, and he'll have a map in front of him like this, and you'll sit in the middle. It's like a psychological kind of thing. And he'll go, take me from the first run in the blue book, it's Manor House to Gibson Square. And he'll go, take me from Manor House to Gibson Square. So you're closing your eyes thinking, right, leave on left at Green Lanes, right Avenue Park, left in the Garden Grove, right in St Paul's, right apply up accordingly, by up the street, and you're doing that, and he's following you on this, and he'll put a bit of string and go, yeah, you've done well there, and he'll ask you 4 of them, and if you do really well, he'll give you either an A, B or C. And so the reason they're called 56s is you come back every 56 days until you've got, I think it's 9 points or 12 points, I can't remember. And then you go down to 28 days. The questions get harder every 28 days, so you're coming back every month. Then you pass that, you come back every 21 days, and then you go through all that again. Then once you've done that, you think you've passed the knowledge. Now you've got to go out and do the suburbs. You've got to drive all around kind of Enfield and Heathrow and out kind of Essex and down Croydon and them sort of places and learn all of them again.
I wonder why they made it so hard. Like,
you know that feeling when everything just clicks on the site? FlexiGas helps make that happen. Reliable, simple, ready to go.
Yeah, they made it so difficult, didn't they? And it's a shame now. Obviously, Uber's come about, and anyone can go and get their license.
100%. And if when you said it earlier, I was going to say that was probably the beginning of Uber was when I was probably in my second year, and I noticed I used to go out, and I'll talk openly. I used to go out and aim for £400 a night, and you think it's a lot of money when you take your diesel and your tax and everything else out of it. You know, it's a decent wage, but where I was working 12 hours a day, or for an evening earning £400, when Uber were out, I was having to do that extra hour or the extra 2 hours to try and get that. And then that would snowball over because I was coming home at 3 or 4 in the morning. Then the next day you become miserable, you become tired, you're constantly, and if you come out on the road and you turn left, you can have a bad day, you turn right, you have a good day. That was the difference. Like it was just a lucky day sometimes, you know. It really was like that. But since Uber came out, obviously all the apps have come out, and the London taxi trade has had to change with it because there's a lot of people who are on apps and stuff like that now, even though not many people hail a taxi nowadays. You know, you drive past them and they're all on their phones. You know, but you can still get a London taxi off of an app. And if anyone out there's listening, don't use Uber, but use a London taxi.
Oh, you can get an app?
Yeah, there's loads of apps, loads of apps. Just type in Black Taxi app. I can't remember what's out there. I think there's Get Taxi. And if you are, you can get Radio Taxi and that. But the best description was, I'll tell you this quick story before we move on. I'd just done a 14-hour shift and it was 2, 3 in the morning. And I was deep South London. I live up in Hertfordshire. And I was tired. I was like nodding off. I was on my second Red Bull ready to go home. And I was coming from south to north, coming over Tower Bridge. As I was coming over, there was a girl just walking south. And I could see there was something not right. And there was a couple of geezers kind of just walking behind her. And she was on the phone like that. And she was putting her hand up. I thought, if she puts her hand up, I ain't got my light on. But there was something that didn't feel right. So I pulled over, I said, what's the matter? She said, I live in Croydon. I went, look, it's dangerous for me to go back out there. I'm falling asleep at the wheel now. She went, can you just speak to my dad? But you know straight away, he's like that. London taxi driver said, just get my baby in the back of the taxi and I can put the kettle on. Now I know she's in the back, she's safe. And that's what you pay your money for. You know, once she was in there, that was it. And I took all the way back to Croydon. The old man was trying to give me way more money than whatever the fare cost. And I ended up, I think I pulled over in a lay-by and had a couple of hours kip and then just drove home. But it made me feel better the next day that I knew that I'd done something correct. You know what I mean? It weren't about the money.
Definitely.
And I think that's what you buy into with a London taxi.
You must have dealt with a lot of drunk people then on the weekends.
You do. We never used to. I never used to go to Shoreditch back in the day before lockdown. Obviously, Shoreditch was heaving Thursday and Friday nights, and they were just ponces. They were just the pricks from school who got jobs in the offices. Yeah. And they're all down there and they get in the back. You right, geezer? You've been busy tonight. You're like, fucking hell, go away, mate. And just constantly just talking down to you and you're thinking, oh, you little prick. But yeah, you do. But what we used to do, if you kind of pulled up outside a bar or something, someone flags you down, you pull up past the bar and you watch them in your rearview mirror, see how they're walking. Normally, they put their hand out. As soon as you stop, they get their mate out the doorway who's just been throwing up. Quick, get him in the taxi. So you pull up just past the pub to watch what's actually happening behind you. And if they're like that, you just pull away or something like that, you know. There was always ways, but every now and again you had it. Yeah, I've only had one person throw up in the back of the taxi, but yeah, on the whole, it weren't a bad ratio, to be truthful. But yeah, you do see some weird and wonderful things.
So did you rent your cab then?
So initially, yes, off a place called Colts down in East London. And I think I was paying about $250 a week to rent it off of them. And then after a year, I thought, this is it, this is my life. So I bought a taxi. 12 months later, I fucking gave up. So I ended up renting it out to a pal for a year, and then I just sold it because it was too much aggro, you know.
So you said about you keep your badge up. You've still got your badge. Do you have to renew it? Would you say?
You don't have to do the knowledge or anything like that. Literally, it is a case of they send it over every 3 years. You pay, again, someone might be able to tell us different. It's around about £400 every 3 years. You just renew your license.
So you've
kind of
done
things.
that then?
I've still got it now.
Back up, isn't it?
It is back up, but like every Christmas I'd go down there with the kids, no matter what, we go in a taxi, and I'll go, we're stuck in traffic, and I'll go to the cab driver, why don't we go St Martin's Lane? No, you can't go there. But Waterbury? No, you can't go there. No, that's pedestrianised because I don't go out there now. Right. I'd probably have to do some kind of knowledge again before I go back out again.
Like a refresher or something.
Something like that. If I ever do have to go back out there again, I probably would for my own sanity.
Yeah.
You know, it's more that square mile more than anything else, but it's just, yeah. it's a nightmare.
It's interesting though. I never knew that about you. I didn't know you was a bus driver or a taxi driver. When are you going to be a train driver?
I don't know. It's not a bad job either. We've got a couple of mates on the underground.
I've got a
They're
mate.
cleaning up down there.
My
aren't they?
mate's on the underground. I don't know how much he is on a year, but he's on a good
Yeah.
good lump, and he's
But
coming up for pension.
The thing is that I was just going to say, the thing is with them, and there's so much to be said. If I was to do this whole journey again, I'd like to get into an industry where you can work your way up, paid holidays, private pensions, pension schemes and stuff like that. I'd love to have had that. Whereas doing what we do, I earn money and everything else, but you know, if I'm off for a week, I don't get paid.
But the thing is, and also what we're saying about Uber and that, and people always moaning about train drivers striking, but they've got to strike because they've got to look after their livelihood, didn't they?
100%.
Do you know what I mean? Because you've not got that really as a black cab driver. Have you not really? Have you got a union? Is there any type of union?
I think there is or there was one. There is or there was one, but like everything, when I first come out there, it used to be run by the Met Police. So they used to come out on the taxi ranks at King's Cross, making sure your taxi was clean. If it weren't, they gave you like a thing you had to go home and get it cleaned or whatever it was. But now it was TfL, and TfL kind of only look after themselves. It's all about money, and it's just If I think if it was still being run by the Met Police, Uber would never have got in.
No.
That's it. But life changes, it evolves. You sit there and you can do your head in about it and kind of get worried and worked up, or you just get on with it because there's nothing I can do. So you do the best with the hand that you've been dealt, don't you?
Yeah. So then once you come out of that, then you started up Artek.
Artek, that's it. Yes, I came back, started up Artek, went out of my man band, and just nicking money here and there, just doing bits and pieces, and then got in with a company called Dan James. They was doing loft conversions down Green Lanes in Islington, in Highbury, and they was doing one a week, opening one a week. So every Monday I'd go in on my own and first fix. Literally, it was hard work doing first fix on my own, but getting in there at 8, working till 6 or whatever it was. But then on the Tuesday, I was second fixing one which I'd done kind of 5-6 weeks previous. So every Monday and Tuesday, all I had to do was find 3 days a week.
Yeah.
So I was kind of, if I'm being honest, that was probably the best time because every single penny that I earned was mine, you know, and you felt it. And on that Friday, I got that Friday feeling, you know, I've done a proper day's work. I can have a few beers with the boys, get a curry or fish and chips on the way home. And it was, that they were the good times, if I'm being honest, because now I own the company and everything else is kind of crap, to be truthful.
Yeah.
Because I've got to try, I can't be playing up with the boys. I've got to be seen to be like the dad of the company, you know, it's kind of a little bit more responsibility.
Changes the dynamics, doesn't it?
100%, yeah.
So then you're always trying to push forward, aren't you, sort of?
And that's exactly, but life's about choices, though, isn't it? You know, you kind of, I could choose to go back on the tools and just kind of turn up when I want and just do whatever I want, but you know, as you get older, you everything changes your outlook. If you look at your 21-year-old self and have a look at your 31-year-old self, you've got different outlooks. A great example of that, one of the kids who's been with me, for years, and he was, 22, 23 when he came on with us. And we was always daydreaming about winning the lottery. He said, I'll buy a massive house, have all my mates move in there with me. We'd have parties and all that sort of thing. Now we ask him, not now, what would you do? He said, well, I wouldn't invite me fucking mates round. He said, I'd get a nice little place out in the countryside and all that. Me and my missus can kind of with a dog and all that sort of thing and go on holidays. And your outlook on life is totally different as well, isn't it? You know, just, I suppose when you're young, you're still discovering everything. But as you get older, everything changes, especially with kids. And
but there's pressures in there. Obviously, we've had these discussions with people before who own their own businesses. You got to keep that. Your pressures is keeping everyone else fed, isn't it? And that's one of the biggest pressures of it. And that's why I've never been able to think I might be able to do it because I wouldn't be able to take the handle.
But isn't that kind of part of life as well? I mean, I'm a dad of 3. My wife. If it wasn't for my wife, I've got to give her a shout. Like the business, she's the engine behind. Like you. They're saying, what is it, behind every great man is a great woman, and my wife is just amazing, and without her we wouldn't be here now. But it's kind of like just going forward, having them people working for you. You've got to choose the right people, and that's the needle in the haystack, and having the right person who you can trust to do the job, who's going to do it to the best of their abilities, work on their own initiative, and not want to start out on their own. You know, you can't really get it. And I've hit gold with a few of our boys. They're really happy with the way that we kind of do stuff. So with them working for us, it allows me to go out and get the work and everything else, and it just works poetically. And I think if you're transparent when you're doing stuff, if you're upfront with customers and say you're going to turn up late and you turn up at 8:30, you shouldn't be phoning the customer at 8:30 telling you you're late. If at 7:30 you know you're going to be late, you phone them up.
Yeah.
And I think having that ethos with the boys as well and everything else.
I respect it.
Unbelievably, yeah. And we do use dustpan and brushes. I make sure my boys clean up. But in fairness, they're as good as me as well. You know, they treat it like their own home. Like, I mean, we've done council work before, and you go into an house and you're like in the nicest respect, I think it's going to be tidy when we fucking leave, you know, and you don't know, and they're the ones that are going to complain, and you're like, I didn't know, kind of, I'm sure them dog ears and that Lego weren't nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah.
How was the process then of taking people on and coming off the tools, sort of the things you learnt sort of along the way?
I think slowly, very slowly, getting the right person on, and his name's Mitch, who came on with me after about 3 or 4 guys come on. And they either had the wrong attitude or they was confrontational. And I'm like, we've got to work. Arguably, I'm going to be with you for longer. I'm going to be with my kids and my wife, and I love them more than anything in the world. So if you're going to be working with me or for me, we've got to get on like you'll never believe, or we've got to have this respect. So I went through a few people. Then this guy Mitch came on, and he's just an absolute blessing. So having him coming on, there was 2 of us, and we was kind of going out and we were smashing loads of jobs. But then when we was getting really busy, I'll go there, he'll go there, and then we can kind of meet on another job. And then slowly but surely we got a bit bigger, and then we took someone else on. I said, Mitch, do you know what? It's a bit of responsibility, and if you give someone responsibility, they kind of either melt or they kind of puff their chest out and all that. And he's such a good teacher that I allow him to kind of, they are his apprentice sort of thing.
Yeah.
So everyone who's come through, who's actually done well under our umbrella, it's down to him, not me. I just get to work in, and it's down to him. And so I've been blessed with that sort of.
That's nice, man.
Yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah. Have you had any horror stories from your work in the last few years?
Do you know what? On the way down here, I was thinking, do you know what? I was trying to remember some funny stories or some bad stories. And I genuinely don't think they've been terrible. I think we've been absolutely blessed. I think other than falling through ceilings and stuff like that, which is kind of a bit of a given because we do loft work like you guys do as well. And it is quite funny seeing, it's terrible to say it, but you know when you're working and you hear fucking crash come through the ceiling and and you've got some good mates around you and you're standing there and you're not thinking, is he all right? You're looking going, at what point can we start laughing? Do you know what I mean? It's like, right, okay, but we know he ain't dead, but his leg's in the wrong position, he's facing that way, he's facing right to that way. And you're like, and you just see someone sit there and you see their shoulders, you're like, no, I've got to get out of here. But we've had, we've been blessed, but I think that goes back to like being upfront with customers and clients and stuff like that from the get-go. And if there's ever an issue or a problem or something like that, we've attacked it before it's become an issue. We've swallowed money for the greater good, you know, when customers are kind of kicking off and you know you're right, but you're like, do you know what, for the sake of getting one bad review on Check a Trade or whatever you're using, I'll swallow it. Look, I'm not £100 off your bill. I really apologise. I know we didn't do it, but really apologise because I know that their word is golden and it ain't worth it. For £100 in the bigger scale of things, you can make that up 10 times over. Yeah, so we've been blessed.
What sort of work do you do then?
So at the moment, where I would say predominantly 60-70% is domestic, which is, I think that's bread and butter. And as much as a lot of my electrician mates don't like doing what we do, doing kitchens, doing bathrooms and doing stuff like that, it is repetitive work. We just got in with Harrods Aviation over at Stansted Airport, which is a blessing. We look after doing there? But just general kind of work for them. But what they do, they keep it really in house. So they've got one at Luton and one at Stansted. So now we're in with them. They've always got big aircrafts kind of like plugs in and stuff like that, and then machinery, generators and stuff like that. But everything needs maintenance as well. And then with the offices, upgrading kind of halogen lights to LEDs. It doesn't sound much, but when you've got 6 floors of offices and each one of them's got 20 lights in, it's a big job. And we're just going through the EICRs as well, and that's a minefield as well because people have added to it and added to it, and it's it's a nice little number. You don't get dirty. You're walking around Harrods and that, but it's lovely. It does make me laugh that we was over at Stansted and we had 4 lights to change in the big foyer to kind of come in. And I said to the guy, I said, how much would it cost to change this light? I said, look, be £100 a light fee. And, do we have to get a big ladder, 2 of us up there? And he went, look, I'm just going to let you know, just kind of double it. What do you mean double it? He said, look, just trust me, you're going to double it. He said, because when you've got an environment like that, things are always happening, things are always kind of, you have to stop doing what you're doing to move out of the way. So we was in there this particular day, and this Boeing 747 had come in and landed. And so they've done, the Arabs kind of came in, and they don't want to see workers. So they've kicked us out of the way and all that. So we're in the car park like that, having a look. These 4x4 Rolls Royces, what are they called? The big 4x4 Rolls Royces, the big ones. I can't think what they're called.
I don't know what they are.
No, but there was like 7 of them outside, all parked up. So we're like that, God, this is brilliant. And so they've come through, and each one of them's got in a Rolls Royce, and they've gone off to Arrows or wherever they've gone off to. And they right, okay, you come back in and finish working. About an hour later, they went, right, everyone off. We've all gone back in the car park having a look. It's their wives. They've got another fucking plane. They wouldn't even get on the same plane. I'm thinking, how much money must you have? What kind of world do you live in that they just kind of got on a different plane?
I don't want to chewing my ear off all the way here, mate. Get them a different plane, put them on all together.
It's a different world. And it's lovely being around it because you see something totally different, you know?
Yeah.
It's really nice. But yeah, so that's really nice, kind of having that stuff. But again, going back to, we were speaking before we came on here, trying to get back into, going back kind of nearly 20 years ago when we started doing the housing association. The greatest thing about that sort of work is shithead work, and you're dealing with a certain clientele, but it's repetitive. You know that every single week you're opening a kitchen, you're opening a rewire, you're opening a bathroom. So to have that through the school holidays or even just throughout the 12 months, you're guaranteed. It's not the greatest profit, but it ticks you over while you're taking the cream.
That was my foundation work. That's where I learnt my trade on that sort of work. To get better homes, like Hackney Council and that. So yeah, well aware of the work, and like you say, the clientele are somewhat different in some cases. So it's interesting stuff. You do see a lot of things during that time.
Yeah,
some colourful stories.
You test yourself in them scenarios, didn't you?
Yeah. But then, so now though, so what's happened then when you decided to take an interest in comedy? Because that's how I know you, through the circuit. So when did that sort of like interest you?
So for the sake of the TV, where's it 2025? So the beginning of last year, I wanted to do a bucket list, but I wanted to do a bucket list before I was on my last legs. So I wrote out all these things. So last year I wanted to get on TV and do stand-up. I was hoping I was going to get on TV doing stand-up. I realised it's not as easy as that.
Yeah, well, I see you on the TV.
And that's where I was going to go. So basically, I applied for the 1% Club and filmed it back in November 24 and got on the 1% Club in, I think it was February of this year, 25. Didn't do too well, to be truthful, did I? I went out on the 80% question.
What's the 1% Club?
It's lean Mac, and it's like there's 100 people in the audience, and he asks you questions. So like he'll ask the first question. 100% of the people we ask this question to, which one of these 4 colours is blue? And it's fucking red, yellow, green, blue, and then you do that. Then the next question is a little bit harder. Then only 80% of the people they ask the question to got this, and then it goes all the way down to the 1%. So you play the game and you have your kind of guesses or your educated guesses, and then it kind of whittles the 100 contestants in the audience, whittles them down to maybe a winner or whatever it is. So I was on there, right, and I had my wife's voice in my head. She's going, just don't be a prick. Right? Because she obviously knows me. So she's got, don't be a prick, right? Read the questions twice. You know, like in a school exam, you tell your son, just read them twice. Just make sure you read it twice.
Go back over your answers.
So I wrote all the answers on my arms, and I was fucked. Really, I couldn't read them. But so on the 80% question, there was a question, and I can't remember what it was, but I knew the answer straight away, and there was a green cross code thing. And but I read it twice. I thought, right, I've got a voice. Don't be a prick, Alan. It's your family's name on this. And so you only get 30 seconds to answer the question. And on 31 second, I pushed green, and I got out because I was a second too late. So at that stage, what they do they kind of speak to us about what your hobbies are and all that, just so they've got a little bit of banter when you actually go out. And Lee Mack started talking to me. And when he was talking to me, I was telling him stories and stuff like that. And he interviewed me for about 7 minutes. It got edited to about a minute, which you see on TV. And one of the things was about my tattoos. And I've got a collage on my belly of like comedians and stuff like that. So, but that came from hand in hand what you asked a minute ago, how did you get into the comedy? So it was kind of from there, really.
Can we get a look at that tattoos later? Alan is ready to take his top off at some point, so we can.
But hurry up, because I'm breathing in and it takes a while.
What we'll do, we'll edit it in. We'll take the videos of you after, and then we'll edit it in, because they are interesting. They are, and they're very, very good. Yeah. Very, very detailed.
What made you get them then?
Sorry?
What made you get the tattoos?
So, I mean, I'm covered in tattoos anyway, so it was kind of, the comedy ones was because of the whole comedy thing, and I think during all of our lives we've all kind of fallen in and out of love with certain comedians, and as you grow up, I mean, Lee Evans for me when I was a kid, he was stupid, throwing himself around. Then I kind of went off of him, and not went off him, but you kind of go different ways. I used to watch Billy Connolly back in the old days, and then the New People and all that, and I thought it was the one place that I never wanted to get tattooed because I'm covered, because it fluctuates. In the winter it gets bigger, and in the summer it gets a bit smaller than big, and that's about as good as it gets. And I thought it's going to like disfigure them, but then I just decided to get them done, and then it was choosing the right ones really, and I think I could have. I think even now, if I think back on it, I could probably get six other ones done on there and still be appreciative of who's on there.
Yeah,
just because I love it. Yeah, it's one when I go on holiday or something like that. It used to be all the war sleeves and that, and people would stop me. Now it's the comedy, and if one's like, "Oh, Dad, look, he's got like Billy Connolly, he's got the two Ronnies and all that sort of thing." So it's really nice, It's really nice to be stopped. So I don't like attention, to be true.
But how did you start in the comedy then?
So going back to what I was going to say. So I had two things. One of them was getting on TV. One of them was comedy. So all I wanted to do was once just do stand up in front of an audience, and it was a box ticked. So getting on TV and a box ticked, and that was it. So a really good friend of mine had started comedy about a year before, and he said the best place to start is a place called Up the Creek. It's called the Gong Show. So normally people would go in front of 15, 20 people and try a couple of jokes. I didn't realise, but there was about 200 people in this fucking club. And I peered around the door and went, "You sure we're in the right place? There's people, and they're all boozing, and they're there just for the comedy." And it was just like, and this particular night, I'd applied for it. And so what you do a 5-minute, you get given 5 minutes on stage, and the audience get given a white card, 3 white cards, and the MC will wind them up about it and say, "Look, if you don't like the comedian, after 2 minutes, the lights will flash on and off, and then you put your card up. It's like getting a buzzer off of X Factor. Don't like him, he's crap. You get 3 of them and you're off." And I thought, right, okay. I had nothing to lose, So I went on stage, but my wife and a few family friends kind of came along, and I had a really good friend of mine called Danny Gilbert, and he was sitting right at the front. I fucking love him to death. He was sitting in the front, and he went, "I'm just going to laugh." And I went, "Make sure you laugh in the right places." So I started telling this story, and I could hear him laughing. I'm going, "No, not yet, Dan, not yet." And he's laughing his head off. I'm fucking hell. But you can hear it on the audience. And anyway, I got through, and I'd done the whole 5 minutes. So it was called the Blackout, and I beat the Blackout. And it was such an adrenaline rush, which when you take the roof off. I didn't take the roof off that night, but standing in front of that amount of people, it was so it was like a feeling I've never had before. Like no drug, alcohol, anything like that can come close to that one feeling. That natural high is something that I think everyone should experience if you've got the balls to do it. And that's why it's so good, because not many people want to do it. So I'd done it, and I got through, and I'm thinking, this is a bit of me. I'm going to give up fucking London Taxi and electrics and everything. I'm going to be famous, Mum. And I went down to Shoreditch on the following Thursday, and I stood in front of 30 people, done 2 minutes on stage, and I got fucking nothing. Like,
that's comedy.
But when I say nothing, I mean, I'm talking like it was just silent, and I'm trying to catch people's eyes and all that, and I got nothing. So I had 5 minutes on stage, and we're on the Gong Show. I got 2 minutes in, and I was really wet behind the ears and all that. And I'm like, "Oh, fucking hell." And I went, "Do you know what? The pub's a shithole anyway." And I threw the mic on the floor. And everyone started laughing. I'm like, "Quick, give me the mic back. Let's take the piss out of the pub." But what it turned out was in the audience was about 30 comedians.
Yeah.
And they was just waiting for their turn to come on. So they wasn't paying a blind bit of notice of what I was saying. They was...
The worst audiences.
They are, yeah. Trying to make a comedian laugh is very difficult anyway. But they was all shitting themselves about coming back.
Yeah, that's the thing. No, they're all thinking about what they're going to say and they're not concentrating on you. And I think some of them are thinking, if you smash it, then I'm going to look bad. And a lot of them...
So they're not going to laugh.
And that's what I think. But I done the Blackout number. So to get through, that was your first.
That was my first ever stand on stage.
When you went up to the green room, did they go? So how many times you done? You went, this first. Everyone's like, you're mental. You're absolutely mental. This is my first time. I've been doing it 50. Like I've had 50 shows.
How long ago was it?
So that was January the 4th, 2024. So last year,
you've done well, mate.
So last year, well, so the whole process. So what I've done from there on, I started doing gigs and gig gag and stuff like that. If you know about it, but basically you go online and you can get gigs, and I was doing them all over. And with work and with the comedy, it was just taking over. So I got to the end of March and I went, this ain't for me. It's taking up too much. I'm not enjoying it no more. So I went, I'm just going to stop. And I did. So from March, I had the whole time off, and in my head I weren't going to do it. But there was like, what's the word I'm looking for? There was
underline.
There was something that I needed to visit. I couldn't leave it. So then in November I went, do you know what? And I'd kind of written a new 5-minute set, and I thought I'm going to give it a go. So I got in with Ben Dixon. We went out and we done a gig, and it didn't go too well, but I knew that I really wanted to get back into it. So long story short, I put in for the Blackout again. And not only did I get through, I actually won the whole fucking thing.
That's a mental. It's just to take the piss. I've done it 3 times, and I've made about 4.5 minutes. But he's gone through on the first time and got through, and then the second time he's come back to it. He's won it.
It was December the 12th, 2024.
I remember it. I see it. Yeah.
You see it on there, and do you know what? When I was walking around there, like you can walk around amongst the crowd because they don't know who you are beforehand, and I was walking around and there was groups of geezers from Kent, geezers from Essex, groups of women, and I'm thinking my comedy is I'm gonna have a good night tonight. You just got that feel, just sometimes you can just feel the room, So and I thought, and I was upstairs and I was quietly confident with my set, and when I look back on my set, I cringe when I watch it, because we all do, because we all evolve. Yeah. So when I look back and I'm like, how the fuck did I get through? But this wave of laughter, joke after joke, I didn't know how to pause from that punchline to the start of that joke because I'd never... Yeah. It was like getting out of Dubai airport. The wave of heat that hits you was like this wave of laughter. And literally got through. I kind of messed up a little bit at the end and I got through. And they was all going, we want more. And I'm going, I ain't got no more. Yeah. It was like my sex life. I've got nothing left. But yeah, so that was really good. And what that done, that kind of allowed a few people, when you win that, you kind of, people start hearing and start talking about you. So, and then over the Christmas, I got offered a couple of nice little gigs. But in January this year, I went back up there, bombed after 2 minutes.
Oh, really?
So yeah. Because, and the crowd were 20-year-old students, holiday makers and all that. And the thing is, the girl before me, she went on there, she started talking about Ed Miliband and the Labour Party, and they're all laughing, and I'm sitting in the wings going, you're not going to like me. Yeah. And I went on stage and they didn't.
But that's the thing, because you've got a certain type of audience member who will possibly judge you, and I've said it before you even open your mouth.
Yep.
Because they see you as a white, middle-aged male.
Yep.
Yeah. Straight. Yeah. Heterosexual. And automatically they think he's going to be sexist, he's going to be racist, he's going to be...
just rude. Yeah.
Homophobic. Like that, do you know what I mean? Because they've already judged you before you get up, and they've got an opinion on it. I've noticed that a lot.
I had it up there. And there was 3 young girls, and they just come back from a Palestinian march. One of them had a poncho on. All 3 of them had dreadlocks on, between the age of 18 and 21, something like that. And they were just sitting on the front, like, mouth like a bumhole, like, don't like you. Fucking hate
how old are you?
And I got talking to them. They bombed me off, and I got talking to them outside, exact word for word what he said. She said, what the spokeswoman out of the 3 of them, she said, we hate you. Everything you stand for, white, heterosexual, middle class, covered in tattoos, geezer, you're everything that we hate about this country. And she said, you've got white privilege. And I wanted to say something. And I'm thinking the three of you probably been to private school, university, they weren't like that. But that was a big thing for me. So when she said that, this thing took over, and I went, look, the reason that I'm covered in tattoos is because I was in the army. I weren't. But I said I was in the army. I said, like, I'm back in Sierra Leone. I had to run into a house, and there was 5 people in the house, and I saved all their lives. And in my head, I'm going, shut up, you prick, shut up. and
You're getting right there that night, was thinking
But I said, I've got 3rd-degree burns over 80% of my body, and I've been in depression all my life. And so by getting these tattoos over me, it's making me feel good. And I looked at her, and her bottom lip was going. And I'm thinking, how far do I push it before I make her cry? And I left it there. She said, I'm so sorry for judging you. I said, look, you shouldn't judge people, and that was it. And I left it as a dad thing, like, please don't judge people before you do it, you know. So I just left it at that. But you do. But we're all guilty of judging people, in general. We've all got it in us. We do it on a daily basis, you know. Yeah. But
you're striving though. You get so I say to us, I think every comedian wants to make it to some sort of limelight. I don't know, you not that bothered?
No, 100% not. Genuinely not even not that bothered. I'm not striving because I know what it takes to get to here, and I'm a nobody in the bigger scale of things. Yeah. And I got asked, I've done a thing called Jonglers, which is, I don't know if you heard of Jonglers, it's like, Jonglers, I would say it's on par with a Comedy Store, and that it was a massive club in the comedy scene, and it still is. And I've done a couple of gigs, and the guy who's running Jonglers, Kev, absolutely amazing. And he said to me, do you want to be doing pubs and stuff like that, or do you want to go for the limelight? And in my head, I didn't want to say to him because he's put a lot of time and effort into me. But to get there, you've got to be gigging, you've got to be away, you've got to go out.
A lot of time.
And the thing is, I'm nearly 50 years old. I've done my nights in the taxi. I've done my all this time, my apprenticeship for it. So if I started this 20 years ago, then maybe the answer to your question would be a totally different answer. But right now, I know what it takes to get there, and I'm not willing to put it in because my kids and my family come first. Yeah. And so this is just a lovely hobby. And every now and again, if I get offered a pro gig or a Jonglers or a Comedy Store, I'll take it if it fits around us. Yeah. And that's kind of where I am. I think I'm pushing my luck a little bit with my wife and my kids doing what I'm doing now. So to get to that next level, it's not for me.
You got to be dedicated. I see the kids out there, the youngsters out there doing 4 or 5 times a week. Yes. And I ain't got that in me because I've got kids as well. If I got 2 a week, I'm lucky. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I ain't got any this week, but it's averaging 1 to 2 a week. And I think that unless you've got like a very good platform online, then you're not going to get the chances. Would you agree?
100%. I think we're living in that age now where obviously if you've got 50,000 followers or 100,000 followers, these promoters are going to come to us because inadvertently they're using you to get themselves up as well. And that's kind of where it is. So I think that's at our level. But I think that's at every single level because comedy isn't like it was back in the day. No. So I think any kind of promotion out there. But what I have heard like in recent times that what we do, because I've shared the stage with Pete a few times, that we've got this kind of, if I was to say old school, it's not like Bernard Manning or anything like that, but it's, I think it's quite refreshing. But when I do gigs in London and stuff like that, I'll say it now, that out of 20 comedians, I'm probably one of only 2 white heterosexual males on the circuit, so a lot of people either don't want to or we get so downtrodden that I think a lot of people who watch comedy now won't go out to the Hippodrome or the Palladium and stuff like that because of the kind of the level of the comedy it is now. Whereas when we do our gigs, I know there's a lot of people who go, we don't go into London, but we love coming to watch you lot. So there's still a working class kind of ethic all over the country who want to watch.
And it's funny because I had this sort of like, because Terry, our mate, he's very, very like, he's that way, like older school type sort of thing, isn't he? Yes. And he dances on the edge, which I think is a good thing. Do you know what I mean? I think it is a good thing, but because people are too offended at the moment, but he genuinely feels that that's on the way back. Yes. He thinks that's coming back. Like America, because America, if you've watched anything in America, that is very on the edge now.
Well, that Kill Tony, I mean, I think they overstepped the mark every time compared to what we do. Whereas we used to be leading the charge. they've kind of taken over.
Yeah.
And when you watch them, you're like, you can't get away with that.
No.
You can't get away with that.
You think to yourself, blimey, like, I've said this before. I only have to say, I've said it before at a gig. I've said, I've referred to my missus as my bird.
Yeah.
And it gets frowned upon, and I think to myself, oh, mate.
Oh, wow, that's kind of a little bit, yeah.
I know. It's like, the language.
Just slang, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to...
But what you're doing, you're diluting. Humour should be natural, and it comes out natural. When you start diluting that, you're diluting the punchline, and I mean that in every ethos as well, just kind of right the way across the board. And then you're losing that little bit of edge. That's what comedy is. You know, when you laugh and then go, that's when you know you've hit gold. Because your natural instinct is to laugh, and then you go, am I allowed to laugh? That's the problem nowadays. You get people checking themselves, going, I'm not too sure if I'm allowed to be seen to be laughing at that. If you were naturally going to laugh. You get one go at this life. Just enjoy yourself. Don't worry about other people.
Yeah, it's tough. It is a tough gig, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
It's
like,
very,
and you can't always read it. Like you said, one night you've won Blackout, and then the next night you've bombed, and it's like, and you can never get that sort of. And when you walk away from a bombing, like, how do you feel?
It's the worst. I mean, we was chatting earlier. I bombed a couple of weeks ago in Southend. And I was so emotional. I mean, I'm a grown geezer and whatever you want to call it. I had tears in my eyes. I was on the phone to my wife going, I'm never doing this no more. But all that time and effort you put into it, and I'd let myself down. It's either the crowd or yourself, and I'd let myself down. And it was heartbreaking. And it wasn't that. I took it to the next day into work, and everybody, are you all right? Are you ill? Are you not well? And I didn't want to say I didn't do too well because I was embarrassed by it, and you shouldn't be, because like everything in life, to have the highs, you've got to have them lows. And they make them highs so much better.
Yeah, but that makes you a better comedian as well, doesn't it? Because if you're building up an armour to that's the way I see it, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what if you wanted to succeed as a professional, like talk to the younger kids and all that now, you can't just walk away from a bombing and think, I'm not doing it anymore. You've got to keep going and keep going and that's what makes a comedian,
I think that everything I've done in life and everything everyone does in life, there's no bad thing to do. So I've done the knowledge, and a lot of people said to me, I bet you're gutted you've done the knowledge now you're not a London cabbie. It's taught me so much. I used to get a D, which means you didn't score. You go again, you get hit in the belly, you go again, you get hit in the belly again, you go again, and you're like, if I work harder, I'll get there. I'll get there. And that saying, if you never give up, you'll never fail. It doesn't matter whatever your journey is, if you just never give up.
That's exactly what I've said. It's like, and if you've got a dream, like even if you don't succeed at that dream, you're still living. Do you know what I mean? Without giving up, you're still living the dream. Whether or not you make it or whatever, you're still living that dream.
But there is no end, not no end game. But it's kind of like there's no pinnacle. It's not like you get there and go, right, I'm here, because it's all, and everything's about the journey. The whole life is about the journey as well, isn't it? And it's all about enjoying yourself on the way there and learning. And it's only a mistake if you keep making it. It's a lesson. If you do something bad and you learn from it, it's a lesson, not a mistake. Yeah. And there's so much to be said for that.
Yeah. You got anything you want to say? You're just sitting there. He's ill at the moment.
He's nodded off.
He wanted a cuddle from Alan straight away. Alan coming
I've been aiming it towards you because I'm thinking if you want to have a little nod off, that's fine, Nicky. You're right.
Nice. It's been a good conversation. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been good, mate. Thanks for coming in. Is there anything else you want to say? Is there anything you want to add? Do you want to plug yourself on socials or whatever?
No, I don't think so. I think, listen, if I get more followers, it'll be lovely, but it doesn't bother me. It's not my kind of be all or end all. Just love everyone, love each other. I love that.
And you're coming on my gig, ain't you?
Yeah, we've got a gig down in Ongar. If anyone's coming down, do you want to just quickly? Yeah,
down at Ongar in the Royal Oak. If you're in that area on the 27th of August, we've got a little gig. Alan will be there. A little, what do you call it? A nice little pub, isn't it?
It's a very little pub.
It's a very little pub.
It's brilliant because you stand there, right, and you're doing this gig, and there's like three sort of areas. And you're trying to tell a joke to that side, and you think, I've got my back to them. And before you know it, you're kind of doing and you think, oh, fuck it, which one of you lot are laughing the best? I'm going over there, fuck you lot, I'm going to do it here.
It's intimate.
Intimate is a good one, that's exactly it. But yeah, it's always good, and it's always nice to see you guys as well.
Let me know when you're thinking about doing Blackout again, because I want to do it while it's quiet, because it's quiet in the run up to Edinburgh, so I might be doing
That'll be nice as it goes. Because every Thursday, every now and again, I don't know if you get it, but
get the email through.
You get the email that someone's dropped out. So yeah, if that actually comes up, then definitely that'd be nice.
Alan, thanks for joining us, bro.
Cheers, Pete. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Lovely.
See you soon.
Cheers.
Mate.